I've actually experienced. So in my market, we have the ability to rent vehicles from Hertz, and we had the ability to rent vehicles from Avis up until about 2 weeks ago to do Uber. Uh, Avis pulled out of this particular. Well, they didn't pull out of New York. It's just the Avis around here pulled out, and the closest one's in fucking Albany. And I'm not going to Albany. Um, so yeah. So there's only Hertz around here, and it costs about $312 a week after tax to rent the vehicle without the extra insurance. And you can get the loss damage waiver via your credit card, or it's $396 without a credit card to get the loss damage waiver, which I think is a really good thing to get, because if you're in a motor vehicle accident, you have to obviously deal with insurance. You might be responsible for stuff. There's medical bills. You know, you should have liability insurance. If you're in a motor vehicle accident with a now here, Hertz doesn't usually offer insurance for their vehicles for free. In New York, Hertz has to. There is a legal minimum insurance requirement when you are on a when you are driving a vehicle. And if you don't have it, you're driving the vehicle illegally. And it's a whole thing, and nobody likes driving a vehicle illegally. It's not fun. It's not pretty. Nobody likes it. So for about a month, I spent about $1,600, and I did Uber rental. And I'm thinking about doing it again. But this time I'm thinking about making content with it. Because there's plenty of stuff that I can do in terms of like videos and video editing and cool stuff like that. The only problem is I would have to learn how to like black out things so that it only showed like the miles. Because here in New York we have a couple of things. We have upfront fares, we have full trip before, which means it tells us the pickup and drop off, tells us the estimated time. Obviously, the estimated time is just an estimate. We also have something called a minimum earnings guarantee, which is $27.58 an hour. Now, that means you're guaranteed to make $27.58 on average per hour. So about $1,100 for a 40-hour work. Now, obviously, you got to pay for the gas and the rental and everything and all of that. But I have, at this point, figured out that I can essentially work about 40 hours a week doing this. So I'm thinking about restarting doing it tomorrow. No, Monday. It's still Saturday now. I'm considering restarting doing it this Monday, or maybe next Monday, depending on how things go with just other stuff, because I have multiple doctor's appointments. But I'm at the point where I can actually invest 40 hours a week or more to it, in active time, and potentially do content, do a little live stream every once in a while. Brazil, cool. I like Brazil. I think they're a cool country. Um, Now, $27.58 means that you have to basically work about 10 hours before you cover your rental fee. You also cannot operate the vehicle on Lyft or DoorDash or Grubhub or any of those things. I'm only activated on Uber anyway. I'm activated on DoorDash too, but I ain't done DoorDash in about 5 years. I did DoorDash in 2019, 2020, and I hated it because honestly, DoorDash's offers were bullshit and they were stealing tips. They actually got sued about it, and I won $100 in the lawsuit because I didn't do that many orders because I kept getting pissed off. I would get offers for like 45 fucking minutes for 650 plus, and then the plus would be $1. Hold on, I'll be right back. I got about that. My mom texted me because she hadn't heard from me all day, so she was just worried. You know how moms get. But anyway, now with Uber, I've gotten some pretty good offers. I've gotten I've gotten offers that have been $40 an hour. But what I'm thinking about doing actually is, if I do this, is taking everything, 100% acceptance rate. Put eats on, put rides on, put everything on. Because if I do that, I can get a lot of new stuff, a lot of different stuff. I can have active time. I can get the guarantees of the 27.58 an hour. So if I'm taking that $3.72 ride, and I pick up the very next ride and the next ride and the next ride and the next ride, and I just chain them back to back, and let's say I have a goal of $100 on the day, maybe I make that $100, but I also don't make the earnings guarantee. So I still get paid more the next day. Now, I only want to do 5 days, 8 hours, 40 hours a week. Um, in order to do that, that would require me to do, let's say, Monday through Friday, which I totally could do. And I'd have Saturday and Sunday off. Couldn't do anything. Wouldn't do anything with that, but I'd do Monday through Friday. Hello, Harley. I do Monday through Friday and something like that. And what I could do is I do Monday through Friday. Maybe I do 8 to 5 or 7 to 3 or 6 to 2. I'm thinking maybe the 6 to 2 or the late night or something like that. The 6 to 2 kind of would work, but the 8 to 5 works a lot better for me because of my other things that I have to do with my club. But if I could do, let's say, so for 27 for $100, I need to work 4 hours. 8 hours is 200. So obviously that's $1,000 over the course of those 40 hours. Actually, it's 1,100. So really, it's a profit of about 600 if I can do that. Obviously, I might work on a Saturday or a Sunday if you were there. I might work on video editing. I might do XYZ thing. I might work on other stuff. Obviously, in a little bit, I'm about to go. I'm about to get home and I'm about to do my sports predictions video for tomorrow. I'm maybe going to go live later today. Hey, Amanda, how are you? But as I'm doing that, I'm also going to build up this channel. Because as I build up the channel, I can get watch time and I can try to get monetized. I need 4,000 hours of watch time. And if I could get 4,000 hours of watch time before the end of the year, I could do some pretty amazing things. I could start making some money. I could start doing some stuff. So tomorrow, which is Sunday, I plan on sitting down. Hello, Colton and Braxton. How are you? I plan on sitting down and making a bunch of videos. I plan on just sitting down and just busting out 10, 15, 20 videos. Some of them scheduled, some of them right away. And then there's also a video that I want to bust out that's going to take a little bit longer, which is how the quartering led to Boogie 2988 faking cancer. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing that's hilarious when you actually look into it. But I gotta go do more research. I gotta go find the videos. It's a whole thing. But here's the other thing. I've been watching a lot of rideshare content and DoorDash content and all of that. It's been pretty interesting. I've seen some people do Amazon Flex. I've seen some people do DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Uber, Lyft. People do private clients, which is a whole other thing. I don't own my own vehicle, but if I did, I would consider doing private clients. I'd probably consider doing like private clients for rideshare. I don't have a business or anything. The other thing, with a vehicle, I can get to other places and do photography. I can do videography. I can do all sorts of stuff that I can't do when I'm just on the bus. And it also might help with my health um, because the bus is not a healthy thing to be on, unfortunately. Uh, Sometimes people just do not know how to behave on it. And I do not like when people do not know how to behave on the bus because when people don't know how to behave on the bus, it leads to a problem. Now, $396 a week seems like a lot of money, but when you're making $27.58 a week or $27.58 an hour, it's an expense that you can deal with. Because at this point, so I'm actually in grad school, so I actually get my grad plus loan for next semester in January in about 75 days. But what I'd like to do is build up enough of a cushion so that I don't have to touch that and that can go towards other random bullshit expenses or I can even start paying it down. Because I have 2 semesters left in grad school after this one. I have a part-time semester in the uh, spring and a part-time semester in the fall because I do not want to go full-time. I may do a part-time semester in the summer. I don't know. It's all a thing that I got to think about. But if I could do the Uber rental for, let's say, 3, 4 months, find a regular job, get the channel monetized, get the channel to the point where I'm not having to worry about anything. I'd absolutely love to make enough money where I didn't have to go to work. Obviously, that's a whole other thing. But obviously, if I became a rideshare channel, that would be a whole different niche. But I don't know if you guys have noticed this. So I've made a bunch of different kinds of videos, and it's pretty cool. Um, I make video game videos. I make book videos. I make anime videos, like talking about anime. I make cartoon analysis. One of my favorite channels on here well, not on here, but on TikTok, is KOTHPOK, or as she's known on here, Late Night Saturday Morning. She does analysis, like super hard hitting analysis on cartoons. And it's one of the most amazing things ever. She does some of the most amazing things ever. I'm actually currently in talks with her to do a collaboration. We're working on figuring out timing and if she would like any compensation or anything. Um, but that's a whole thing we gotta work on at some point because it's a whole thing. But with all that, I'm really enjoying the fact that she makes some amazing cartoon analysis, especially as a person with a degree in English lit. Um, hey, look, there's a bus. Buses are cool. I enjoy buses time to time. Um, there's a couple of things going on in the wider world of other stuff that happened. So, obviously, you guys know that I work with my club to do a convention every year. Last year was the first year that I was really big into it. This year is we're already planning it. Like I've already got the email to the people who are like making sure everything runs smoothly as like the like student association in the university to make sure that everything runs smoothly. I already started reaching out to guests. I already tried figuring out how to make more money for the convention. Um, we got to do a whole bunch of stuff with that. But there's another convention near me, well, not kind of near me, called Toricon, which is the RIT Anime Club puts it on, and they unfortunately recently are being told that they're losing access to their club room, and they think that 2026 Toricon might be the last year because of that, and I'm really upset by that because like cons are great, and cons on a college campus are one of the best things ever because what you can do with a con on a college campus is you can go ahead and have classrooms. You got basically the student union space for vendors and all sorts of stuff like that. You got artists, you got guests, and a lot of times colleges can get a little bit not a crazy discount, but let's say somebody's fees usually 5,000. A college might be able to get that down to 4,500, and so they save about 500 bucks while also allowing the artists or the guests to sign autographs and stuff so they can make the money back. The amount of money these guys make is amazing. Obviously, their expenses are wild too, because like they got the flights, they got the hotels, and a lot of times they got to get reimbursed for that, and it's a whole thing. Honestly, if I became somebody who went to conventions as a guest, I basically I'd need enough money to make it, worthwhile, make it so that I make a profit. But basically, my thing is obviously I'm not a big creator. I got like 5,800 on here, 70K on TikTok, and what's it called? I got what's it called? I got like 8K on Instagram. So not a lot. But if I started going to conventions, I would want my hotel and my um, travel covered. I would be willing to front it and get it like, reimbursed. I'd want like a 75 to $100 per diem for food that I probably wouldn't spend all of it. But yeah, maybe even like a $60 per diem or whatever the IRS per diem for truck drivers is. And then I'd want something like an appearance fee, obviously, but like let's say hypothetically my bills worked out to 80,000 a year or 60,000 a year. I'd want an appearance fee that covered 1/12 of that. Because essentially 1/12 of that would be making a profit. Or well, 1/11. No, yeah, no. 1/11 is smaller than 1/12. Yeah, so an 11th of it. So that way, if I did a 13th convention in a year, I'd be able to do something like that. Obviously, con season's kind of weird. Um, my dream is to go to San Diego Comic Con and Gen Con, and I'm kind of hoping to make the money to get to one of those this year. I don't know if that's going to be possible, I'm going to a con up in Niagara Falls in 2 weeks. It's called the Shokucon, and it's new, like literally brand new. I've been in talks with the organizers. It's I don't have anything to do with it other than just I offered them a table at the one I run, and they took it. And we met at Toricon last year, and they've been really freaking awesome to us, and we've been good to them. Um, the only thing I really know about with them is that they're pretty cool. Their first year, they're at a hotel. Um, and it's one of the more interesting things I've ever thought of. Having a con at a hotel, because sometimes that can go poorly, but a lot of times that goes really well. Actually, I lied. I do have two things I'm doing with it. I'm doing two panels. One of the panels is on dungeon food. Would it taste good? And another one of the panels is on cool things you could do with the Death Note without killing people, because it controls your life as you're dying and all that, which is kind of cool. So let's say you got terminal cancer, you can say you have like the greatest day ever, the greatest days ever until your death date, which would be pretty freaking epic. And I absolutely love that. So actually, the reason I want to do the Uber rental right now is so that I can build up some cash for that con, because I'm going to want to support the artists. I'm going to want to support the vendors, depending on who's there. Like, I know that there's going to be more cons. I was actually recently at Flower City Comic Con in Rochester for a day. That was pretty cool. It was a 3-day thing, but I only went on the Friday, which was fun, due to the fact that I absolutely love those types of things. So let's say hypothetically I make $2,000 in the next 2 weeks, like in profit. That would help. I'd be able to leave that in the bank. I'd be able to upgrade the hotel room I'm staying in. I'd be able to get the good food while I'm there. I'd be able to figure out the stuff that I'm allowed to do. I'd be able to maybe support a vendor. I'd be able to maybe be able to make some really cool stuff. And that's the thing. 396 times 2, let's just call it 800. So to make 2,000, I'd need to make uh 2,200. Uh, no, to make 2,000, make 2,000 minus 800 is 1,200, and then another and 800. No, I need to make 2,800. I don't know why that math was so hard. I really don't know, but 2,800 divided by 2,758 is nothing. So I'm thinking I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to get what I can get. I think I'm going to make content out of it. I think I'm going to continue to make the content here. I haven't fully decided yet. This is I'm gonna be honest with you. This is a brainstorm session and a yap session with you guys. Um, for a couple of reasons. One is I need help thinking. Two is I'm in a lot of pain and I need a distraction while I wait for my ride. Three is actually it counts towards watch time. So whatever watch time I get on this. So right now there's 9 people here, and so for every minute of live, I get 9 minutes of watch time. For every hour of live, I get 9 hours. Obviously, there's 60 minutes in an hour. So for every one person, 1 hour. For every 2 people, every half hour equals an hour. 3 people every 15. 3 people every 20 minutes equals an hour. 4 people every 15 minutes equals an hour. 5 people is where it gets interesting. That's every 12 and a half minutes. 6 people is every 10 minutes. 7 people is every, you cut that in, well, that's a little interesting. 7 people gets interesting. I'm not 100% sure what it is. Well, that's 7 minutes, 7 minutes per minute, 7 hours per hour, 7 minutes per minute. So 70 minutes every 10. So it's like every 8 minutes. 9 people is every 7 minutes. 10 people is every 5. No, 10 people is every 7.5. 11 people is every 5.5. 12 people is every 5. So I don't make any money right now because I haven't reached the 4,000 hours of watch time. But Ian, that's a really good question. So once I know, I would tell you more. But so essentially, for every second that I'm live right now, I gain 5 seconds of watch time. For every minute that I'm live, I gave 5 minutes of watch time. Obviously, the number and that number is not, it fluctuates. You never know. There's been times when I've had 200 people in a live. There's been times when I've had 10 people in a live. There's been times when I've had 3 people in a live. I'm starting to have a really bad sore throat and a possibly bloody nose. So I'm going to have to be back in a little bit. But I'm going to hit that 21-minute mark here with the 2 people here. So in 29 seconds, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. Essentially, I'll have gained a full minute, even though it'll have only been 30 seconds, which is pretty freaking cool if you ask me. But yeah, that hurt. I am probably going to go back live once I get home, which should be in like a half hour, so that'll be pretty cool. Thank you for joining.